All right, I'm gonna try and keep this as relevant and as short as I can. Lord help me. I just ask and pray. Make a quick video and then head to bed. But anyway, to get to the point, if I may, I was trying to go to sleep and I feel, or there's been this shift in a lot of the different verses, a lot of the different videos that I've been watching, prophetic words, sermons and such, talking about like birthing and the vision coming to actually manifest and be evident and obvious and present in the physical, you know. So it's been months of, you know, like doorbells going off in the spirit, as they say, and just the phone ringing and just like chiming, you know, of it's your time now. So I guess the point of that is that in the spirit, it's always first before it is in the physical. So it's been months of that, and it just seems like false alarm after false alarm, you would think. But just like how Daniel, when he prayed, you know, for 3 weeks for an answer, he got it the day that he prayed. But it talks about how, I don't remember which angel, Michael, I guess. I think it was Michael. But he got sent, and then Gabriel had to come, and the two of them had to battle against the Prince of Persia, which was a regional demon. So why am I mentioning all this? Why am I talking about all this? All the words that I keep getting, and it was probably last week, the actual feeling of a shift, more than just the spiritual like alarm going off, or the shifting in the spirit. It just seemed like things were different this time. So I've been early on a lot of different things. I know there's this court case coming up. I don't even know if it's how it happens, but everything that I've been saying, everything that I've been talking about for the last year, almost year and a half, well, at least for the mayor's race anyway, is becoming. Like, I believe that with everything that is within me, everything. And, you know, along with that shift, one of the words that I got prophetically was, you know, you're holding on to something you just need to let go of already. And it was the divorce papers with my wife. And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, if you want me to sign them, I'll let it go. And I signed them, and then he sent me to Joshua. And there was a chapter that he told me to read, and it was everything that I needed in that moment. And then he said, keep reading and then skip over 2 chapters. And when I read that chapter, I flipped over the next page to continue it. And it was from December of 2019, which is the first time that I had signed my divorce papers. And she had one form that didn't go through. So just this entire last year was this, like, I had a sense that she was trying to get remarried, I guess. And I don't know the guy's name, and I don't need to know the guy's name. But anyway, without going too much more into detail, like, that was kind of the suspicion that I had. But when I showed up in Anchorage again that first time, didn't know why. And she said she wanted a divorce. I signed those papers. But then when I go and sign these papers after I get a prophetic word and scripture to confirm it, when I finally was able to get down and have it notarized and sent the thing off, the chapter that he sent me to, and then 2 chapters after that he said to keep reading to, was the exact day that I had signed it the first time. So it's like, okay, this is everything that I need in this chapter here to continue on and trusting, and like, this is like the last thing that I've been holding on that seemed like you need to let go of it, Micah. And then just like, it seemed like let it go and let it die is what it seems like. And I keep getting verses and references of like the Valley of Dry Bones and those kind of things, where it's like, okay, this is beyond dead. And I've been striving apparently in different ways and didn't even realize it. And you're saying, just let go. I want you to relax in this season. I want you to actually like celebrate the study that you're doing for the job that you're going to take. And the budget for 2022 is coming up next month. And with this shift, with this deadline for the court cases before the Supreme Court, it's like I'm not even part of that lawsuit, but I benefit from it. And I don't even know if it comes specifically through that, but that is a deadline that's coming up very, very soon. So it's like, okay, is this how it happens? Or it really doesn't matter, because I'm still just gonna have to wait either way. But I've been getting these visions of, and this is just, it's very personalized. So that's why when it comes to how God speaks to you, and when you go and take and are influenced by people and how they tell you God speaks, and God didn't tell you to do that, God didn't tell you to run from there, God didn't tell you to, divorce your wife, God didn't tell you to go to Hawaii, these kind of things. It's like, it's a personalized relationship. So when it gets into the prophetic, when it gets into the just when it gets into any kind of obedience, when it gets into visions and dreams and what all that means, I mean, you can try and go on YouTube and type in dream interpretation or vision interpretation. It's going to be very subjective, because it's a personalized faith. That's just the intent of it. That's the purpose of it. There's going to be experiences that he speaks to you through that nobody else can interpret, And for me, like, I've been trying to fish at the job site, that we've been on for the last year. And I'll go throw a line out, and then I'll go check it at lunch, and then I'll go, rebait it and throw it back out at the end of the day, work, let it sit overnight. But anyway, like, anything that I would catch that I'd be happy with of any kind of size, the vision that he gave me was taking, if it's a bonefish, or being that we're here in Hawaii, a papio or a ulua, or, bluefin trevally, as you call it in the mainland. And I don't know who's watching this, but that's what it is. Anyway, it's to take a fish that would be completely, like, satisfactory, and then put a hook in the head as live bait and throw that back out. And then the vision, as I'm trying to fall asleep, that he gave me of today was of, like, taking anything that I caught, it's like 5 to 10 pounds, that I'd be more than happy with, for throwing a little bit of bait out at lunch, and then reeling in, or basically this vision of what's swimming back and forth in the ocean, which is a leviathan, and it has my hook and my bait of what I threw out. So it's basically like, whatever you're expecting to catch, Micah, up your expectation. That's what that means. You're trying to catch bait fish so that you can throw out and catch your 10-pound papio, what have you. But I'm giving you the vision of putting a hook through what you're hoping to catch at best, and throwing that out, and you're going to catch a mammoth. You're going to catch something way beyond anything that you can envision. So it's been a lot of that kind of stuff, very personalized visuals and dreams and such. And the last week it seems to have been fishing especially. But, one of the other references that he gave last week was, I think it was, I don't remember if it was a dream or a vision as I was falling asleep. But it was a stream that I used to fish behind the house in Anchorage all the time. So salmon, you have king salmon that would run all through there, different types of salmon. You weren't allowed to catch king salmon, but I would always see them, and they get up to 100 pounds. That's the best that you could hope for to catch in that stream, and it's not a very big stream. But the visual that he gave was not of me catching a king salmon at best, but that there was a blue marlin in there that I had hooked onto. It's like, okay, that is just totally random, and that doesn't even make sense. But that's what you're saying in throwing and trying to floss, if you will. I'm going to catch a marlin, a blue marlin. All right, so I need to up my expectation. That's what that comes to. So, like, the last day and a half, I've been getting not only reconciliation, prophetic words and promises and such, but it's been dating. And it's like, I just signed my divorce papers yesterday, and you told me as soon as I sign them, immediately after, and I don't know if it's immediately from the time that I sent them in the mail, or it's when she gets them that this all happens, because, and what is immediately, God's timing is not our timing. I've found that out, obviously, and saying everything that I've said over the course of last year, thinking that I had a word from God, when it's like I don't have a confirmation on it, specifically for that, but I'll go to scripture and there'll be something about it, and it's like, okay, this definitely seems like this is you confirming it. And I can see that a lot of it is, I had to go through that season and being wrong and having confirmation enough to step out on faith and to still be wrong, to misrepresent God as it would seem, but to still continue on in faith, having enough to go on, but not enough confirmation to say this is specifically what God said or this isn't. Like that I win the primary. That was not the case at all. And why would I think that I would? But when he said, or I thought he said, and then I had scripture and different things that would seem to confirm it, it's like, okay, you say I win this thing. I didn't even ask for this. I'm standing in obedience and stepping in obedience to it. And if this is what you're telling me, then I'm going to go and lay everything that I value, that I would think, or people say I should value, in way of reputation, and say I win the primary when I haven't even been on one stage with anybody for this position. So you say I get it, fine. I believe you, God. And it's just been a year of that. So when this all comes to be, all this looks like, and all this is nothing more than God's favor. And it's totally undue. And the example of that is exactly that. It's all undue. God's favor over my life, God's favor over your life, and loving you, gifting you, accepting you, redeeming you, all of that is undue. So striving, like stressing, all that stuff, it's like, no, believe, step in obedience to what he's telling me to do, and it happens at whatever time. And just believe and just go on that. He tells you to do something, do it. Even if it doesn't seem like it's in the context that, like, there's been some things that's like, okay, I'm pretty sure you said to do that, but this seems like a lie. Maybe in this season it seems like that, but I can't say over the entirety of it all, or in the nth degree, that was a lie specifically. It just seemed like in that moment, like any of this other stuff, that you become mayor. There's currently a mayor, but apparently he didn't keep the job, and I believe God. I believe God. That's what it comes down to. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it with that. I'm gonna go to bed. Love y'all. Night.